Hello and welcome to ShanghaiEye. I'm Wang Ying.
Hello, I'm He Jian. Shanghai is home to an estimated 600,000 people with disabilities, including 90,000 individuals with some form of visual impairment. With the implementation of the law on the construction of barrier-free environments of the People's Republic of China in September of 2023, there is now a solid legal foundation that ensures accessibility is increased in public places. Stephen had a chance to take a look at the city's efforts to increase accessibility.
我们很少看到盲人在盲道上行走，这什么原因呢？
我这个也是机动车上面推的，上面根本不好推，你看哪里推啊？
去的太少，这么大的公园，不让马桶，就这么一间。
很多地方都是有很大的改善，但是有的时候呢，他碰到那个坑坑洼洼的地方呢，轮椅也有不方便的地方。
It's estimated that there are about 600,000 people with disabilities in Shanghai. Among them, 90,000 are visually impaired. Many often overlooked details are actually crucial to determining the ease in which they can navigate the outside world.
Now, at first glance, you might think this elevator was part of the building, but it was actually added much later in the building's lifetime. And more buildings in Shanghai are getting this treatment, making the buildings more accessible to people who are perhaps disabled, have mobility issues, or elderly. Shanghai has a massive elderly population. They actually installed one in the building right next door to mine in my neighborhood, and it got me thinking about accessibility and all of the work that's being done to make the city a little bit more convenient for those who are differently abled. So I thought I'd have a look around and see what I could find.
15 minutes away from this residential complex in Changning district, there's a riverside walking path, parks, schools, university campuses, metro stations, and commercial areas.
Parking for the disabled, very commonplace, you see it everywhere. However, this spot has an added feature. If you look on either side here, they've added a whole extra, I don't know, about a meter of space. Even on the other side where you got another car, there's another 1 meter of space here allotted for this parking spot. Clever.
Ramps make a big difference. And if you want to take a stroll along Suzhou Creek,
we have a ramp.
And at Zhongshan Park.
It's all about accessibility. Here we've got a ramp. It's on a very, not a very steep slope. Super easy to get up with a wheelchair. Even if you're not in a wheelchair, if you're perhaps an elderly person, it's a lot easier to come up that than it is to come upstairs. And once you're up here, they do have a bathroom for people with disabilities, complete with all the handles and bars to help people get around the sinks, around the urinal, even around the toilet.
In this 200,000 square meter park, I found 6 restroom facilities. The sidewalk is pretty good here. There aren't heaps of bicycles and scooters parked on the raised tiles. It's wide enough to accommodate the bikes and the path for the visually impaired. But if it were up to me,
perhaps moving the bicycle parking over to this side so that this stays a little bit more clear might be a way to go.
Shanghai has actually been making efforts to increase accessibility since the 1980s, beginning with major streets and new buildings. The 2023 law on accessibility provides a wider and more solid framework to further standardize and improve facilities for people with disabilities and the elderly. Curious about the improvements, Stephen decided to visit the Yangpu Library and the Wusongkou International Cruise Terminal in Baoshan District to see firsthand how the facilities have improved.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello.
欢迎欢迎。
欢迎。
那么今天呢，就由我来带你参观这个图书馆的无障碍设施。
好的。
You might be wondering why an officer from the Procuratorate is guiding me here. In China, there is a unique system called prosecutorial public interest litigation. If the Procuratorate identifies a violation of public interest, it first issues a recommendation to the relevant administrative body, urging them to fulfill their duty in promoting accessible environmental construction. If the issue is not addressed, the Procuratorate can take the case to court.
Stephen，你看这边就是我们原先的图书馆的无障碍阅览区域，也是盲文阅览区域。这个区域还是比较小的。
The Yangpu Library was renovated and expanded from the former Shanghai Library. which was originally built in the 1930s. It is now recognized as an important heritage building. Bringing this building up to the standards of the accessibility law was challenging, as they needed to make changes while preserving as much as possible.
这边来的是我们傅老师，他是我们义兴卫工志愿者。
你好，早上好。这个阅览区我经常来，您看到了，这个通道比较小，当时我在这里进出非常不便，所以当时我们看了就提出一个要求，是不是可以设置一个比较空间大的、符合各类残疾人需求的一个无障碍阅览区？图书馆积极采纳了我们的建议。
The new reading space was renovated in about a month. Braille books and large print books are placed on low-level shelves for easy access. They've installed equipment like magnifiers, a Braille keyboard, screen reader software, and places for wheelchairs. Even the water dispenser is lower to the ground.
它满足了至少是3类残疾人，就是肢残人、聋人、盲人这3类的需求。你看这个地方是这个空间是满足就是轮椅这样进出的，你看这样轮椅的吧，它进去以后就比较方便。
With these extra facilities, people can use this space independently, just as anyone else would. Next, we go to the main hall. The self-service borrowing and return area includes equipment that wheelchair users can operate on their own. There's also an area of the service desk where people in wheelchairs can easily seek assistance when needed.
1层到了，请上行。
是我们图书馆的无障碍电梯。那在这个电梯的整改过程中呢，其实我们当时检查的时候啊，就发现了，就是我们傅老师觉得说这个电梯里面没有听到层爆音，但是后来呢，跟图书馆沟通的时候，他们就向我们反映了，实质上它是设置了层爆音的，只不过因为有群众投诉。
Libraries are quiet places, but audible floor announcements are essential for the visually impaired. To address this, they gathered volunteers, visually impaired individuals, and regular readers to find just the right volume for the elevator.
就是想说，这个无障碍设施啊，它关系到你我他，那也希望公众能够予以理解，能够有一份温暖给到我们的残障人士特殊群体。
Reading is a great way to pass the time, but libraries aren't for everyone. But almost everyone likes to travel. So we're heading to the Shanghai Wusongkou International Cruise Terminal in Baoshan District. It's the largest port dedicated to cruise ships in Asia. Its accessibility facilities are essential in ensuring a seamless travel experience for all passengers.
Hello, Steven.
Morning.
Morning, yeah.
And you're going to show me a little bit about what you have going on in here.
Yeah. 今天带你看一看这个国际邮轮港是，它是我们上海的一个对外的一个名片是。它大概去年大概有400多航次的船次，然后承载大概100多万人，然后让我带你进去看看吧。
好的。Lead on.
Yeah. 我们首先走的这个是一个坡道，这个对于那些带有行李的人啊，或者说一些轮椅的人，他们可以通过这个坡道来进到我们这个入口。
And I guess with these things like the slope
is
important. Like how long is it? How high is it?
Yeah.
The degrees of.
Yeah, standard for it. Yeah.
All right, so what do we have here?
Show around the table counter.
All right, so wheelchair access.
Yeah, new
right. So there's regulations on how high this needs to be.
Yeah, and how high, and you can see there are enough room for people to use it.
Oh, right, I see.
Yeah,
so it's open, right?
Yeah.
Because without that, you'd have to be sideways writing, but this way you can. It's a small thing. It's not a difficult thing to do. It's a very small thing to do.
Yeah.
What else do you have to show me?
Well, sure.
All of these elements may seem small, but inspecting and improving them takes time. They also showed me wheelchair waiting areas, elevators, and restrooms for people with disabilities. Some are newly built, while others needed to be brought up to standard.
So the law was enacted in 2023, and obviously it affects all new construction. And for places like this or airport, train station that's already built, it takes time to change that. How long do you think it's going to take to get everything up to code?
Well, 法律也规定了，它对于新建、改建、扩建的，它是要求严格按照这个国际标准的要求是进行一个改建。那对于存量的话，我们要设置一个计划。因为不可能，比如说我们这个整的一个航站楼全部停掉，去进行一个无障碍的一个改造所以呢也会是，比如说我们先改造一块地方，让另外一块地方先启用起来，也是通过这个检查公益诉讼也是督促 尽快去改善这些东西。
By 2030, it is estimated that there will be 8.8 million people in China with some form of disability, while the number of elderly people who have difficulties performing regular everyday tasks from dressing to shopping is expected to reach 59.3 million. In Shanghai, about 600,000 people with disabilities, as well as 5.4 million people, including the elderly and even those with temporary mobility issues, will directly benefit from the law.
今年已经是从2017年公益诉讼全面推行开来，今年已经是将近第8个年头了。
通过那个法律监督职能啊，是办理了一批案件，包括了就是我们这里公共交通设施的一个无障碍环境的一个改造，还有包括图书馆啊，或者说是药品的这个适老化的改造，都是更好的服务我们这个残疾人朋友，或者说我们老年人朋友，更好的去共享我们一个社会发展的一个成果。
所以现在我们走进医院，哪怕到街道医院，它的无障碍厕所、无障碍坡道、盲道、扶手等等这些残疾人、老年人需求的一些无障碍设施，基本上是应有尽有。
因为我们杨浦图书馆目前为止的无障碍，不管是设施还是信息还是社会服务，都是非常的完善了。那怎么让我们的特殊群体能够走出家门？ 然后到我们这样一个图书馆来享受文娱的一个活动，这个一系列的无障碍15分钟生活圈的工作，可能是我们公益诉讼保护以后需要慢慢去逐渐完善的。
In today's What's On section, we give you a sneak peek at some new cultural venues due to open this year. First, we'll have a look at the Shanghai Grand Opera House. Located inside the Shanghai World Expo Cultural Park, it will soon open to the public, bringing world-class opera and cultural experiences to the city. From the air, the building's striking white spiral staircase resembles an elegantly unfolding Chinese folding fan, and the rooftop plaza will be open year-round. And in Xuhui District, you can visit the Westbund Grand Theater. It is located in the Xuhui Riverside area and is surrounded by cultural venues such as Gate M, the Westbund Dome Art Center, and the Westbund Museum. The theater's exterior features undulating lines inspired by rippling water, mirroring the surface of the Huangpu River. The venue houses a grand theater and a smaller theater, positioning itself as a world-class waterfront art center. In northern Shanghai, Changtan Concert Hall has become a new landmark. Located in Baoshan District, it is inspired by the mythical Dragon Palace from Chinese classical culture. The hall has hosted several test concerts and will officially open soon. It consists of 3 levels with more than 1,000 seats. If you've got a question for us, you can find us on all the socials.
We'd love to hear from you. You can find all our content online as well and join us here on Dragon TV Monday to Friday.
Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.